being here today. So my story began on June 24th of 1971. On that day, there was a ship called the Roger Blau that was being commissioned at the American shipbuilding company down on the river in Lorraine. And they were loading this huge long boat with oil, and the oil struck a light, and the light caused the oil to ignite. And when the oil ignited, it caused a fire that burnt for 4 days. They called in the Lorraine Department, Elyria, they called in all the surrounding cities, and they brought them here. And they fought the fire and they put it out. And at that time, my mother was watching my father fight the fire, pregnant with me 2 weeks before her delivery. And we didn't know it at that time, but that fire was actually going to mark a birth and a death. My birth, and also my father's death. Literally 22 years to the day later, on June 24th of 1993, my father passed away. And we had a memorial, there's a memorial for firefighters in Lorraine every year on Memorial Day. And my mother and I were standing there, and we were honoring the fallen, and they named each firefighter as they go through. They'll say their name, and then they'll say absent. And my mother was counting in the back of her mind how many men had died from cancer. And she mentioned in the car, do you think his cancer was work-related? And I said, it's possible. Why do you say that? And she told me. So we started doing our own investigative work, and over a 2-year period pulled several death certificates. And we found that there were, at that time, 17 firefighters who had died of cancer that were on the Roger Blau. That number has increased today to 28. We submitted it to an independent toxicologist and asked them to confirm our findings. Do you think that this is work-related? An independent toxicologist out of state evaluated it and said, yes, this is definitely related.
Days before Christmas in 1994, he walked around the table, had that look on his face, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, there is no easy way to tell you this. You've got cancer. There is a body of evidence going back 30 years in the form of epidemiologic studies, which absolutely conclusively prove there's an increased risk of cancer in firefighters.
As Tim said, the number of states, 22 states, have what's called presumption, meaning that the state law presumes that heart, lung, and respiratory diseases among municipal workers, municipal firefighters are job-related, putting the burden, if you will, on the city or the government to prove that it's not, the much rich, or you as an uninsured person for a breast cancer, someone with breast cancer perhaps, the burden it puts on her and how much more difficult and much more threatening to your health that is. And that really explains to me why Ohio state law, which is better than some states but not as good as it should be, and that's what Representative Lundy wants to change, and how federal law, which is not even close to as good as it should be, can make a difference.
When other people are running out of burning buildings, our firefighters are running in. And so it is personally a wonderful, gratifying experience for me to be somebody who's in a position now to help give you the protections and the presumptions that you need and deserve.